Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking into this incredible intersection of science and entrepreneurship and community building, all through the lens of one person's life and career.
Yeah, it's a story you might not know, but you've probably benefited from his work.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So we're going to be diving into the world of Dr. Mahmoud Elsohly.
Dr. Elsohly.
Yes, he is a leading expert in natural products research, and especially when it comes to cannabinoids.
Okay, now when I think cannabinoid, I'm thinking cannabis. I'm thinking marijuana.
Exactly.
So is this the guy who's been in the lab coat tucked away in an ivory tower doing all this research?
Well, he is a very serious scientist and researcher, but his story is anything but, tucked away.
Interesting. Okay.
He's actually the director of the marijuana project at the University of Mississippi.
Wow.
He holds numerous patents, and, his research has had a real-world impact on the medications that are available today.
Okay, so he's not just theorizing.
Right.
He's actually making things happen.
Exactly. And beyond the science, he's built a business and has fostered this incredible Muslim community in Mississippi.
Okay, now that's what I'm really interested in, is how these pieces all fit together.
It's really a fascinating blend of scientific achievement and business acumen and community dedication.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Sounds good.
I want to understand how he went from a young pharmacy graduate in Cairo to a key figure in U.S. marijuana research.
Yeah.
And then how this chance encounter led to this major business opportunity, and then also, building a mosque in Mississippi.
Yeah, let's rewind the clock.
Okay.
Take it back to Cairo.
Yeah.
That's where Dr. Elsohly's journey began. He earned his pharmacy degrees there at Cairo University. He even became an assistant professor there.
Wow.
But he wanted to dive deeper into plants and their medicinal properties.
Okay.
So that's what led him to pursue his Ph.D. at the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay, so he went from Cairo to Pittsburgh.
That's right. And what's interesting is even in these early years, you see how driven and ambitious he was.
Oh, really?
I mean, he didn't just follow a traditional path. He went above and beyond for his PhD. He actually completed research that was the equivalent of 3 dissertations.
3 dissertations.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
That's insane.
It really speaks to his work ethic and his dedication, even from those early years.
I mean, I'm exhausted just thinking about writing one dissertation.
Exactly right.
So that really kind of sets the stage for his rapid rise through the ranks of the University of Mississippi.
Right, and he joins the University of Mississippi in 1975.
Yeah.
And you know what? Within 2 years of joining the university, he gets promoted from research associate to assistant professor.
Wow.
And this is just a few months after his twin daughters were born.
Oh, my gosh.
So talk about, juggling a lot and still excelling.
Talk about having a lot on your plate.
Yeah, he was really, hitting the ground running.
So we have him at the University of Mississippi. How does he get involved with the marijuana project?
This is the 1980s.
Right.
And the U.S. government's stance on marijuana is very different back then.
Oh, yeah, totally.
We're talking strict regulations, limited funding, and a lot of stigma around the plant itself.
Right.
But there's this growing need for scientific understanding.
Yeah.
Especially for medical uses. And the University of Mississippi was chosen to cultivate marijuana for research purposes.
So they were the spot.
They were the spot, and this led to the creation of the Marijuana Project.
Which he became the director of.
Which he eventually became the director of.
Okay, so it's not just theoretical research. They're dealing with the actual plant.
Dealing with the actual plant, and it had real-world implications, especially for the military.
Okay, how so?
So Dr. Elsohly told this story about the USS Nimitz.
Okay, I've heard of that.
It's a massive aircraft carrier.
It's huge.
And, they did all these drug tests.
Yeah.
And it turned out that a surprising number of personnel on the ship were using marijuana.
Wow.
And it wasn't just an isolated incident.
Like it was a trend.
It was a trend. It highlighted this need for reliable drug testing.
Across the whole military?
Across the whole military. And Dr. Elsohly was the guy to help figure this out.
He was uniquely positioned to do that.
Exactly.
So the research is driven by these very practical concerns.
Yes, and those concerns shape the direction of the research.
Interesting. Okay, so that's happening, but then there's this other thing that happens.
Yeah.
Kind of a chance encounter that ends up being pivotal for his career.
So he's at this forensic science conference.
Okay.
And he meets this English professor
An English professor.
who is pretty dismissive of his work.
Oh, wow.
You know, he's not really seeing the value of what he's doing.
Oh, it's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And it's a good reminder for all of us to be open to connecting with people from different backgrounds and different areas of expertise.
Even when you don't see that immediate connection.
Exactly, because you never know what might come of it.
Right. And that's what happened here.
That's what happened because that English professor ended up becoming a key figure at Roche Biomedical.
Oh, wow. I've heard of him.
They're a big deal. And they needed quality control materials for drug testing.
And guess who?
And Dr. Elsohly, with his expertise in cannabinoids, was the perfect guy.
It's all coming together.
It all comes together.
So this seemingly insignificant meeting
Becomes this major business opportunity.
Yeah, long-term payoff for just being kind to people.
You got it.
So, okay, he's got this expertise. He knows he's got this market. He must have thought, I can do this myself.
Exactly. So he thought he would get contracts with the military
Okay.
to provide his quality control materials. And he even talked to the dean of the university about setting up a lab.
At the university.
Yeah.
So he could do both.
But Dean Guess wasn't so into it.
Oh, really? Why?
He wasn't a big fan of a for-profit venture happening within the university walls.
Oh, okay. So he was like, no, you got to take that off campus.
Pretty much.
Sometimes those roadblocks end up being blessings in disguise.
You got it, because in 1985, Dr. Elsohly decides to go for it and sets up his own lab off campus.
Wow. So he takes the leap.
He takes the leap.
So he must have been so excited to finally get those military contracts he was hoping for.
He had big plans,
Yeah.
but reality set in pretty quickly.
What do you mean?
I mean, he starts small.
How small are we talking?
We're talking 2 small rooms.
Oh, my gosh.
That's it.
Wow. From huge aircraft carriers to 2 small rooms.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even the most successful ventures start small.
But he didn't get discouraged.
No, he didn't.
I mean, did you ever think about giving up?
No, he saw it as an opportunity.
Okay, how so?
Well, there's this program, the Small Business Innovation Research Program, or SBIR,
Okay, I think I've heard of that.
and it helps fund small businesses with, groundbreaking ideas.
Yeah.
And his expertise with quality control materials fit perfectly.
Oh, so he was able to get funding.
He was. And the program is designed to help these businesses bring their products and services to market.
And he had such a unique skill set that he was just like a perfect candidate.
Exactly.
So did it work out for him?
It really did.
So how big did the lab get?
Today, it's 10,000 square feet.
10,000 square feet.
And he has a team of 14 to 20 researchers.
Wow, talk about resilience and adaptability.
And vision.
Yeah, he started small, got the funding, and just built it brick by brick.
Brick by brick. And it's worth noting that his lab doesn't just focus on quality control materials.
Okay.
They're also involved in research and development for potential pharmaceuticals.
Oh, wow. So that takes us into this whole world of cannabis research.
Exactly.
I'd love to learn more about that.
Let's dive in.
All right, so cannabis, it's got this long history, right?
Absolutely. It's been used for medicinal and other purposes for thousands of years.
Really?
I mean, you can even find evidence of cannabis use in ancient Egypt, like in tombs with mummies and artifacts.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it puts things into perspective.
So this isn't just some new fad.
No, not at all.
But I imagine researching a substance like cannabis comes with all sorts of challenges.
It definitely does.
Like what?
Well, you've got legal restrictions shifting public and political opinions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then the plant itself is very complex. I mean, there are over 100 different cannabinoids in cannabis.
Wow.
And each one has unique effects.
Okay, so that brings us to, those 2 most well-known cannabinoids.
Yeah.
THC and CBD.
Exactly.
THC is the one that gets you high.
Right. It's the psychoactive component.
Yeah, and CBD is
No. It's non-psychoactive, and it's often associated with potential therapeutic benefits.
Right.
And Dr. Elsohly has been crucial in advancing our understanding of these compounds.
Okay, how so?
Well, he's been involved in developing FDA-approved medications derived from cannabis.
So like real medicines based on cannabis.
Real medicine. So there's Marinol, for example.
Okay.
It contains synthetic THC, and it's used to treat nausea and vomiting in cancer patients.
Oh, wow. So it helps them through chemotherapy.
Exactly. And then there's Epidiolex.
Okay.
That's a CBD-based medication for certain types of epilepsy.
So we're really seeing how his work is having a real-world impact.
Absolutely.
So what's next? What's the future hold for cannabis research?
Oh, it's an exciting time. There's a growing interest in cannabis-based treatments
Yeah.
for all sorts of conditions. And there's this push to reclassify cannabis legally, which would make research much easier.
Right, because it's still federally illegal here.
It is, and Dr. Elsohly has seen this entire landscape shift and evolve, and he's been a key player in shaping its future.
It's really amazing how one person's work can have such a ripple effect.
It really is.
So we've talked about the science, we've talked about the business, but I want to know more about this community building aspect.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, so he's in Oxford, Mississippi, and he starts working to build a Muslim community there.
And this is where his story gets really inspiring.
Okay, ready.
Remember, he arrives in 1975,
Yeah.
and there are just a handful of Muslims in the entire town.
Oh, wow. A far cry from what it is today,
Right.
which is a really diverse community now.
It is, and he played a pivotal role in making that happen.
So how did it all start?
Well, in those early days, the Muslim community was so small that they would just gather for Friday prayers in a single room.
A single room?
Yeah, a single room provided by the university.
Oh, wow.
But he had this vision
For something bigger.
for something more permanent, a place where the community could thrive.
And that led to the mosque.
That's right, the mosque in Oxford. And it was a true grassroots effort.
So he was like leading the charge.
He was rallying the community, he raised funds, and he strategically purchased land near the university.
Okay, so it would be accessible to students and faculty.
Exactly. And he even made sure that they added a room with a bathroom and a small kitchen
Why?
to accommodate visitors from out of town.
Oh, wow. So he was thinking of everything.
Yeah, he wanted to create a welcoming space for everyone.
But I imagine as the community grew, there were challenges.
There always are, right?
Yeah, so like what kind of challenges came up?
For example, there were differing opinions about the current imam.
Oh, that's got to be tricky to navigate.
It is, but it's important to acknowledge that these things happen even in a community with the best intentions.
Yeah, people are people.
Exactly.
So how did he handle it?
Well, he focused on the positive contributions the imam made, and he encouraged others to do the same.
So he was trying to find common ground.
Absolutely, he was leading by example.
Yeah, it seems like he's really good at bringing people together.
He really is.
I mean, what drives him to do so much?
Well, he once gave some advice to aspiring researchers,
Okay.
and it really sheds light on his philosophy. He told them to never give up hope
Never give up hope.
and to collaborate with researchers from other countries.
Oh, wow. So he's not afraid to reach across borders?
Not at all. He sees the value in collaboration.
And that's not just in research.
No, he applies that same philosophy to his community work.
Yeah, he's always acknowledging other people's contributions.
Right, it's not about individual accolades, it's about collective progress.
Yeah, and he's so proud of the Muslim community in Oxford.
He really is. He's invested in their well-being.
He even mentioned how much the Sunday school program benefits families like mine.
It's about creating a space where everyone feels supported.
Yeah, this has been an incredible journey so far.
It really has.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
Yeah, when we come back, we're going to delve deeper into Dr. Elsohly's personal philosophies
I can't wait.
and explore the impact of his legacy.
It's going to be good.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the life of Dr. Elsohly.
You know, it's amazing just how much this guy's accomplished.
It really is, like, from the science to the business to this whole community building.
And through it, all this commitment to serving others, you know, it's
Yeah.
not just personal success for him. It's about making a real impact.
It's fascinating how he bridges all these different worlds. He's a scientist, an entrepreneur, a community leader, a father,
Right.
and it's like he blends it all so seamlessly.
He doesn't see them as separate at all.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they all feed each other, you know? His faith inspires his work, his scientific expertise fuels the business ventures, and the success in those areas allows him to give back to his community.
Yeah, it's really cool how it all connects.
It's like a cycle of
Yeah.
giving and receiving.
But I think that's part of what makes him such an effective leader,
Absolutely.
this ability to connect all these different elements.
He's not afraid to reach across divides and build bridges.
Yeah, I mean, think about building a mosque in Mississippi.
Right?
Back then, there were very few Muslims in Oxford.
Very few.
So he's creating this space for a community that wasn't always, understood or welcomed.
And he did it with grace
Yeah.
and with humor.
Really?
He told this story about convincing hesitant community members to donate to the mosque's expansion.
Okay.
And he's like, Mama, are you going to let me keep all this money for myself?
Oh, he's so funny.
Yeah, so that playful approach,
Yeah.
it disarms people and helps them see past their differences.
It clearly worked.
It did, because the mosque has flourished.
Yeah.
It's gone from those early gatherings in a single room to this dynamic community hub.
With people from all walks of life.
Exactly.
So he's really created this sense of belonging.
Yeah, a safe and supportive environment.
And he's also emphasized forgiveness, especially within the Muslim community.
He's talked about how holding grudges only hurts yourself.
Yeah,
It's crucial to let go of anger and embrace reconciliation.
a powerful message.
It is, especially these days when the world feels so divided.
Right.
He's reminding us that forgiveness isn't weakness.
Yeah,
It's strength. It's a choice to build bridges.
I love that.
And what's amazing is he actually lives by this principle.
What do you mean?
He's talked about maintaining relationships with people who have wronged him.
Wow.
It just shows his commitment to kindness and compassion.
That's incredible.
It really is, but it's also important to acknowledge, that he hasn't achieved all of this alone.
Right.
He's always recognizing the contributions of others.
Yeah. He mentioned Dr. Mohammed Rizwan
Yes.
and Syed and Mustafa.
And so many more who have dedicated their time and energy.
Yeah. It's amazing how much they've built together.
It's a testament to collaboration,
You can do so much more when you work together.
Absolutely, pooling resources and supporting each other.
And this collaborative spirit, it's not just in the community, it's in his research as well.
Right. He encourages young scientists to connect with researchers all over the world,
Yeah.
breaking down barriers,
Yeah.
sharing knowledge or ideas.
It's a global effort.
It is.
Science for the benefit of all humanity.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the science, the entrepreneurship, the community building, but what about his personal life?
Yeah, what does this guy do to unwind?
Yeah.
Well, remember that little detail about his IMDb profile?
Oh, yeah. He was in those cannabis documentaries, right?
He was.
I mean, who knew?
And when asked which actor he would like to portray him in a movie,
Okay.
his answer was immediate Omar Sharif.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
The iconic Egyptian actor,
Exactly.
known for his charisma and intelligence.
It's a fitting choice.
It really is.
I mean, it speaks to his pride in his heritage
Yeah.
and his desire to see his story on the big screen.
And it also shows this playful side to his personality,
Right.
this willingness to embrace the unexpected.
Yeah, have a little fun.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even the most accomplished individuals are still human.
Yeah. They have their own quirks and interests.
And sometimes those little details make a story truly memorable.
We've covered so much in this deep dive,
We really have.
but there's still more to explore.
Oh, yeah.
When we come back, we'll delve into how his scientific work and his faith
I
intersect.
can't wait.
And we'll leave you with some thought-provoking questions.
It'll be good.
Welcome back to our deep dive. As we wrap up Dr. Elsohly's story, I'm just really struck by how much he's accomplished. I mean, groundbreaking science, a thriving community. His journey is truly inspiring.
It really shows you what one person can do. And what's really fascinating is how he blends his roles.
Yeah.
He's a scientist, he's an entrepreneur, community leader, and it all feels so connected.
Yeah, he's not compartmentalizing his experiences. It's more like he's woven them together into something bigger.
Exactly. His faith influences his science, his research fuels his business, and then that success allows him to give back. It's like this beautiful cycle.
Yeah, a cycle of giving and receiving. And throughout this whole deep dive, one theme that really comes up again and again is collaboration.
Right. He couldn't have done any of it without the support of his family, his colleagues, the Muslim community in Oxford.
Absolutely. And, speaking of support systems, we should talk about his wife. She's been there every step of the way, a constant source of strength. From those early days setting up the lab to right now, it's a real testament to partnership.
Yeah, both personally and professionally. Success is rarely a solo act. There's almost always a network of people behind every accomplishment. And when we look at his philosophy, one thing he said really stood out to me. Always try to leave things better than you found them.
Yeah, that's simple, but so powerful. We all have the power to make a positive impact, no matter how small. Whether it's mentoring someone, volunteering in our community, just being kind to a stranger.
Yeah, those little actions can make a big difference. And Dr. Elsohly is a perfect example. I mean, he's built this amazing career. He's fostered a welcoming community. He's touched so many lives through his work and his generosity. He shows what's possible when you combine passion, hard work, and a commitment to